Ayubowan. On this occasion of the International Tea Day, it's a pleasure for me to speak to you on Ceylon Tea, the finest tea in the world. Ceylon Tea is sustainably grown and ethically produced and comes to you from these beautiful tea gardens of Sri Lanka, which is a pristine world of its own, steeped in tradition and history. The tea that comes to life in these lush green plantations are nurtured by monsoonal rains, sunshine, the rich fertile soil, and the morning mist of a tropical island. So it's pure enchantment in a cup. Drink Ceylon tea and add flavor to your life.
How do we defend a tradition? A process of perfection that is picked, plucked and packed in Sri Lanka in pursuit of the finest. That is, selected, tested and protected for the world. Purity that is not mixed, diluted or mislabeled. We preserve this, we honor this and guarantee this with the symbol of 100% pure Ceylon tea. Seek the symbol of quality. Taste the brew of a legacy. Ceylon Tea, the finest tea in the world.
Tea is so infinite in its variety. Now we're going to have a look at 4 teas to start. The first, we're starting in Nurelia. It's 6,000 feet above sea level. It's 18 to 19 degrees by day. Even right now, when it's not particularly cool down here in Colombo, it comes down to 10, 11 degrees, sometimes a little less, even 5 degrees a few weeks ago, even close to 0 in the night. So it's got a big diurnal range. And it is Camellia sinensis, but it's Camellia sinensis that produces light, bright, beautifully aromatic teas. So you see this light color. It's a little dark, it's dark golden, but it's very different to the other teas that you see here. So here you have a tea from Nurelia. Here you have a tea from the Dimbula Valley. And here you have a tea a little further down and the southern parts of the Navalapitiya region. And here you have a tea from south of Ratnapura. Elevation is the difference, wind condition, temperatures, and so on. And they make 4 dramatically different teas. It's about the more intensity. So here you have, from the Dimbula Valley, you have more structure. So what you've done, you've literally 45 minutes to an hour by car from Nurelia. So 1,500, 2,500 feet difference. So you're at 4,000 feet above sea level, and you've got woodiness, you've got more intensity, dramatically different to what you see here. So what you see on the eye, what you experience on the nose, and what you taste on the palate in tea are aligned. So you can pretty much see what you're going to taste here. And then you come down to something even more earthy, more structured. Earthy, completely different. And then you come finally to intensity, bitterness, bitter chocolate, bitterness in a pleasant way. Beyond earthiness, it's stewed fruit. And it's all the same plant. So what is it about tea that delivers all of this? Well, it's nature. And that's the beauty. And that's why we wanted to have this session, because what we do here is we try to decipher the tea that's best for your morning, your afternoon, and your evening. Now, typically, most people in the morning, they love a strong tea, something that is strong and gives you that energy and that great shot to wake up in the morning. And what makes a breakfast tea a great breakfast tea, or a morning tea a really good one? Well, usually for most people, it's strength, it's intensity and brightness. But where that must come from is not from any additive, it should come from nature. And you know, that's the beauty about tea, because how tea is crafted We've talked about the influence of nature before, but how tea is crafted is the influence of the wind conditions, of the humidity of the soils, on the enzymes within the leaf. It's a metabolic system within tea. It is the hand picking. It's a time of picking. Early morning, we pick to make sure the tea plant hasn't started, that its metabolic processes haven't begun. And so all of these specific artisanal traditions that are so cherished by us are so important to making a perfect cup of tea. So now we're going to look at a few teas. This session we'll be able to show you is that there are different teas for different occasions. And that difference should not come from additives or whatever. Of course, you can add your honey, you can add mint leaves, you can add ginger, cinnamon, and so many beautiful things. Depending where you live, you could grow your garden mint and you could add your mint from the garden to enhance the tea. But the most important thing about tea is to keep it natural, because it is a natural herb with incredible natural goodness. And so you should never compromise the goodness for the taste. So our session today is about that. So taking what you have told me into consideration, we're going to have a taste. We're going to have a look at a couple of teas. So we're going to start with what we refer to as our premium tea. Now, this is a tea from a little bit south of the Dimbula Valley. It has certain intensity. It has brightness. It's a brilliant tea for everyday consumption. And then we're going to have a look at our English breakfast tea. Now, this is a tea. It's a tea from the Dimbula Valley. It's the home of English breakfast. And you know how they all began? Very simple. You know, they say that some of the greatest traditions, it begins with a simple human need. Well, that's so in this case, because the Scottish and English planters back in the day, in the 1800s, when the tea industry was born, they woke up to the bracing 10, 12 degrees that it was in the Dimbula Valley and even beyond in Nuwara. And of course, they wanted to keep themselves warm. So you go out to muster, typically in a tea estate, at about 4 o'clock in the morning. And so it's not very pleasant at that time because it is freezing, take my word for it. And at that time, you need a strong, bright tea. And that is how this breakfast tea tradition started. It began as a Scottish breakfast. It evolved into an English breakfast. And today we refer to it as a breakfast tea because that's exactly what you've just told us. You want something that is strong and bright. So, caressed by the winds, by the relative humidity in the Dimbula Valley, you have here a strong, bright tea. But the importance is that as the day wears on, we like something a little bit different. And so there, we might look to a high elevation. We might look to a tea that is softer, talking about different types of tea today. So we're trying to see if you're a teetotaler or if you like to start your day with tea, what kind of tea is good for you? Well, it's a tea that is made by nature. And a tea that is made by nature in any of these areas, so from 4,000 feet all the way down to sea level, has intensity. But the difference, so here we've tried Dimbula Valley tea, we've tried our Earl Grey, and the Earl Grey is based very much on a tea from the Ratnapura district. Why? Simply because at 2,000 feet above sea level, intensity, strength, that earthiness, because you need to have the harmony, you need to have the ingredients balancing. And then you come further down and the earthiness is compounded by bitterness. Now I want to tell you a little bit about silver tips because this is an extraordinary tea. So these are silver tips. Now in a typical 2 leaves and bud that we hand pick, you have in the middle, you have the bud. This is the bud only. It is extraordinarily aromatic. It has it has notes of hay. It's floral. It's complex, and so it's not just floral. It's not just green, but it is a complex aroma that together combines into this superlative liquid. You know, when you look at it, like I said, what you see on the eye is more or less what you have on the nose and also what you get on the palate. And so this is light. It's just literally like colored water. So any of you who like tea with their milk, this is not for you. But it is for someone who has a sophisticated palate, who would like to have the subtlety and the complexity that comes with a tea that is so artisanally made that from the moment it is handpicked on the leaf, actually even before, from the time the plant is in the nursery, we look after it. It's a particular cultivar and it has a longer than normal bud. And this is literally exactly what you would see on the plant. This is the bud that would usually nestle in between the two leaves. And the lightness and the brightness are truly extraordinary. To this, you can add nothing. You can add neither blend it with a green tea, nor could you have it with anything other than something light. Tea has a magical ingredient. It has caffeine, but about a third of the equivalent caffeine in coffee. But it has a magical ingredient that only tea has. It has L-theanine, which is known not only to reduce the stress hormone cortisol, it enhances mood, enhances alertness without the negative effects of caffeine. It enhances creative ability. And these are not my experiences, it's peer-reviewed science. But beyond that is the fact that tea influences mood and mood influences productivity. There was a 2016 study in Wharton University, which talked about when you wake up in the morning, the next few moments in your day will determine the entirety of it. And so if you consider your breakfast tea help in reducing the stress hormone of reducing cortisol, so it helps the body alleviate stress, but it also helps the body digest, it helps the body combat cholesterol, it helps the body synthesize sugars. And so there's a whole host of different benefits. There is a functional aspect of tea, whether it is looking at mitigating stress, whether it is looking at enhancing your body's immune system, its ability to fight viruses, or whatever it is. There's so many different reasons. And one very palpable one, that research suggests that tea helps enhance lifespan. And why is that? Because tea combats dementia, combats cardiovascular disease, combats osteoporosis. The list is endless. And thank you for watching.
For over 23 years, Equilibrium Intertrade Corporation has been the Philippines' leading distributor of diverse range of top-quality products and innovative solutions for coffee, tea, and specialty beverages that provides the best customer experience while reducing environmental footprints. Our company carries a variety of coffee, tea, syrups, powders, and sauces that grace most cafes, restaurants, diners, hotels, and resorts. We carry different variants of Dilma Ceylon Tea, such as Exceptional, 7-Star, T-Series, Ceylon Extra Strength, Silver Jubilee Gourmet, and Premium Ceylon. You can purchase any of these products from our central office located at the Place Building, National Highway, Tunasan, Muntinlupa City, and selected retail outlets such as Robinsons, Metro Supermarket, and Landmark. You can also purchase online via www.equilibrium.com.ph.